Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. AC Pearl Quotes. In this video, I will explain Carl Gustav Jung. The Swiss psychologist Carl Gustav Jung, born on July 26, 1875, and who died on June 6, 1961, is credited with creating and popularizing analytical psychology, now known as psychoanalysis. Jung's distinctive and significant approach to psychology was owing to his formulation of the notion of psyche or personality via an inquiry into the context of dreams, art, mythology, religion, and philosophy. During the most of his life, he was best recognized as a theoretical and applied psychologist, although he also worked on literature, art, astrology, sociology, Eastern and Western philosophy, alchemy, and other subjects. Did you know? Carl Gustav Jung once said,
"Two personalities coming together is similar to two chemicals coming into contact. If there's a response, both are changed." Anything that bothers us about others may help us understand ourselves. The saying goes, "I am what I want to be. I am not what occurred to me." You are not what you claim you will be, you are what you do. Having no friends or family does not make one lonely. Rather, loneliness results from an inability to express ideas that are essential to oneself or from holding opinions that are unpopular with others. The greatest way to deal with other people's darkness is to be aware of your own. The pendulum of the mind swings not between right and wrong, but between sense and nonsense. Every addiction is terrible, whether the drug is alcohol, morphine, or idealism. The saying goes, "Being who you actually are is the honor of a lifetime." Since I know things and must imply things that others seem to know nothing about and, for the most part, do not want to know, I have always felt alone. Humans would do everything to avoid addressing their own souls, no matter how ludicrous that may seem. There is no awakening without suffering. Making the darkness conscious is how one becomes enlightened, not by envisioning images of light. It is stated that no tree can reach heaven unless its roots extend all the way to hell. I'll heal a sane man for you if you only show me one. No matter how ludicrous it may seem, people will do anything to avoid addressing their own souls. Making the darkness conscious is how one becomes enlightened, not by envisioning images of light. There is a cosmos in every disarray and a secret order in all turmoil. Mistakes are, after all, the basis of truth, and if a man does not know what a thing is, it is at least a growth in knowledge if he understands what it is not, said the philosopher. As far as we can tell, a person's presence only serves to illuminate the meaningless gloom of simple existence. Whatever the ego rejects, manifests as an event in the world. Unless we accept something, we cannot alter it. There is no contradiction between thinking and emotion where knowledge rules. The parents' unlived lives are the family's biggest sorrow. There is no will to power where love reigns and love is missing where power governs. The other is the one's shadow. We constantly fool ourselves because of our pride. Yet a quiet, little voice that resides deep within the ordinary person's conscience warns us that something is out of sync. A soul-eating feeling is a shame. The play impulse, operating out of internal necessity, creates new things instead of the intellect. The playful mind manipulates the things it enjoys. The best thing we can do in terms of politics, society, and religion is to stop projecting our shadow onto other people. The second half of life is spent turning inside and letting go of the ego, while the first half is spent developing a healthy ego. A third of my patients experience senselessness and emptiness in their lives rather than a neurosis that can be professionally diagnosed. This may be described as the modern era's universal neurosis. People's inability to share their tales is the root of all the evil in the world. Integration of the opposites rather than chopping off a part of oneself is the way to reach wholeness. If there is something we would like to alter about the kid, we should evaluate it to determine whether it is anything we might change more effectively about ourselves. Each and every life has potential, and if that potential is not realized, life was squandered. We learn something via sensation. Tell us what this object is by thinking. We learn what this object is to us through feeling. Even a joyful life must have some darkness, and happiness would be meaningless without melancholy to counteract it. If I want to be whole, I must also have a dark side. On the route of life, we repeatedly run into ourselves in a myriad of disguises. Someone who tries to fit in with their group while still pursuing their own goals simultaneously develops neurosis. Everything hinges on our perspective, not how things are in and of themselves. The smallest thing with purpose is more valuable in life than the biggest thing without it. Whoever looks outward dreams, whoever looks inside awakens. Without emotion, there cannot be a transformation of the dark into the light or of the motionless into action. Carl Jung, the legendary psychotherapist, continues, "No tree may grow to heaven unless its roots stretch down to hell." The healthy man does not abuse others. Often, those who have been tormented become those who torture others. Discover a person's greatest fear, for it is where he will develop next. You're probably on someone else's route if the one in front of you is clear. Words have a will of their own and are living animals. Every mother stretches backward into her mother and onward into her daughter, and every daughter contains her mother in herself. When an inner circumstance is not brought into conscious awareness, it appears outside as fate. The more people there are, the less significant each person is.
This is a quote from Carl Jung, who had knowledge and understanding, and ability in his field, from which we can take the positives, leave the unnecessary, and prepare ourselves for a better future.